Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Arvind Speaks. First of all, apologies because it's been a month. I've been active on the podcast. The last podcast was published on 26th of April, so it's 21st of April, I guess. It's been more than a month. Apologies for that, but most of you might be aware that it's not a great time in India these days. So I needed to take some time off, and I'm really happy that I took it, to be honest, because then I was able to do a couple other things. I'll speak about them later on in the episode. But as of now the podcast has an Instagram page, right? So if you want to follow the podcast on Instagram, all you have to do is search at Arvind Speaks Podcast, and please do follow it. There'll be most of what happens along with my there will be a lot of good stuff in there. I promise that for sure. I don't want to give you any expectations at the moment, but again, there'll be good stuff on the page, so please do follow it. And anyways, now we are back with a brand new episode. So this one is the final part of my take on the book Radical Candor. I mean, it's the fourth and final part of the Radical Candor book review. Again, a big shout out to Kim Scott, first of all, really, and her team, and the team of Radical Candor as well. Because guys, they did acknowledge. They did acknowledge my review in sense when I posted a link on my Twitter. So they were there. They gave me a love or like on Twitter or whatever you call it. I guess they were there, monitoring what people has to say about the book, and that's really good. I mean, that's wonderful. So thank you for that. So let's jump into the episode. In the last episode, I spoke about what the author has to say, what the book has to say about giving feedback, like praise and criticism, like Radical Candor style, and explain how the author was sharing her personal stories, sharing her own stories of giving and receiving feedback from her peers at work, as well as random people on the road. But in addition to that, I can safely say that the author Kim Scott has explained both the good and bad ways of praising and criticizing that actually happens in the real world. So in today's episode, we dig into the Radical Candor Audible versions 5th to 9th chapters, right? Basically, the author goes on and explains good and bad guidance practices. We have gone through how Radical Candor guidance would look like, but again, in these chapters, she also talks about how obnoxiously aggressive praise and criticism the guidance looks like and all. Basically, obnoxiously aggressive praise is basically not a genuine praise, right? But a bunch of belittling compliments. She shares her personal stories, from which we can certainly understand the subtle differences between Radical Candor price and the rest of the prices, obnoxiously aggressive as well as everything else. Basically, obnoxiously aggressive criticism is as well being explained to us with again some of her personal experience. Whatever she saw in her experience, she described how these traits would look like. These are not traits, but again the behaviors would look like. So obnoxiously aggressive criticism will come off like belittling subordinates or employees in front of the crowd, like criticizing them in front of the crowd. Moreover, she also recalls herself being obnoxiously aggressive person at one point with one of her co-workers. But she has given her explanation of what led her to behave or to act that way, and she recalls making a lot of wrong assumptions as well as miscalculations, leading her to behave in that particular way. So she clearly explains. So we'll also come across and understand what manipulative, insincere guidance would look like, and what ruinous empathy guidance would look like, and what drives people to behave that certain way, and those are all the things you will get to know in this chapter of the book, like sixth chapter on Audible. So we'll get to know all these in that particular chapter, and how these things can have disastrous effect on the team and also the people, right? These people, the leadership team or leaders who are manipulative, who are supposed to be practicing radical candor, instead the ones who practice like manipulative insincerity guidance, for example, they usually fake praise to be liked. They don't really mean when they're praising someone, they just fake it to be liked, and they also do a lot of nice things rather than giving direct and critique about the performance. Like actually when there's supposed to be critique, or when there's supposed to be a direct feedback, instead they'll probably do a lot of nice things. They just want to be liked, right? And the author also briefly discussed and explained certain things such as false apologies and their effect, and the ruinous empathy guidance as well. It basically being nice instead of critiquing performance. Leaders, some of them keep themselves in this phase. They just act nicely with people. They keep themselves in this phase hoping to make good relationships. Like if they believe that when they do nice things for their employees, the employees will be they'll be receiving direct feedback, good direct feedbacks and all. But again, most of the times they don't end up being a good relationships, because this isn't the right way to do so, right? Even though most people like the idea of radical candor, they do all these practices hoping that they'll work, but again they generally don't work, because people need that challenge. People, when there is an employee, he or she needs that challenge, or he or she needs that feedback. If you just say that if you fake a price, they're still not sure, they still not really know what's wrong, and they want to grow, right? So as a leader, you should be able to fulfill their what they're seeking, right? Unless you do that, if you don't do that, they'll be leaving your organization or team, right? So most of the leaders understand radical candor. Most bosses or leaders, they don't want their employee to burn out, so they do want their employees to succeed, but again they lack knowledge how to do so. So being the idea of radical candor is a good way, and it's the practicable way. Some people even know that it works, but again they fear to practice it. So she explains that if you want to practice radical candor, try doing that by asking for criticism, like ask for negative feedback, what's wrong and all, so that once you get instead of giving negative feedback to others, try to put yourself in that place, getting negative feedback and taking it, and then understands uh, how it feels, and then start giving it back, right? Like she has basically, the author Kim Scott in the book, she told us a decent ways, basically better than what I'm telling now, decent ways to build teams that practice radical candor. And something new I listened to in the book is that the different types of people we come across on these professional setups, right? So one of them is called rock stars, according to Kim Scott. I mean, they call them rock stars, who are the ones who's like they're solid, and they are the people who love their work, and the ones who even quit their jobs if they're offered to change their craft, right? So they are in love with their craft and all. And there are other people there, who are called superstars. Superstars are the ones who need to be challenged, and they always seek new opportunities and growth constantly and consistently. So she spoke about them as well, how to manage them, how to manage different types of people, how to basically how to help, I mean, how not to burn out the rock stars, and how not to board superstars, and how to lead both of them, and how to build great teams, right? And also she also mentioned that the rock stars or superstars, there are trajectories where people often change their behavior. So how to transition, how to make it a smooth transition for your team of people as well. She also spoke about a lot of things, I mean, a lot of good things on this book, particularly in this fifth to ninth chapters on Audible. She spoke about the qualities, like how if you want to build a team, if you want to build a good team, which outperforms, how not to judge them, right? Whether they are ambitious, or whether they are stable, or whether they are content, how not to judge them. Instead, make yourself present in one of those situations, and understand how they how, why they do what they do, right? So understand them better. And also a lot of chapters, a lot of good explanation about performance and growth trajectories, and how to manage the middle. These both, I mean, these all these topics, I felt like, they should be left unexplained in this podcast, because I think if you listen to the book on Audible, or if you read that book, I think Kim Scott, the author, has done a great job explaining. I mean, if I leave them unexplained, I think you'll understand them better when you listen to the book. And one last thing I want to explain. I mean, I want to make sure the point, one little point I got in this book is like, there should be a boss uh, who doesn't hold his employees when they come up with new ideas. Because a boss who holds their employees back would make their employees' life miserable. So as a boss, you should not hold them back when they're coming up with new ideas that may work, that they did the research, that right, you don't hold them back when they come up with ideas. And that's all for this particular book. So firstly, I want to let you all know that I listen to podcasts. I mean, I used to listen to a lot of hours, but it's slightly less now. But I've been listening to podcasts for the last 3 years. And Gary V Audio Experience and The School of Greatness. They both are still my two favorite podcasts. I still listen to them. Whenever I feel like I need some preaching, like they make me, they're big podcasts, right? The hosts are, even the two people are huge personalities, and viewership wise, financial wise. They're big shows, right? They make me, whenever I listen to them, watching how they behave and all. They make me feel grounded, and they make me feel a bit real conscious, right? Because this podcasting, I really wanted to do it. Now I'm doing it. It kind of makes me feel like I made it, right? So listening to these podcasts, these gentlemen make me feel grounded and real conscious, and kind of keep motivated towards the work. So I do listen to podcasts, and I first saw Kim Scott, the author of this book, as well. I was on one of these podcasts as guest, probably on Gary's podcast. I heard about Radical Candor Book from there itself. I genuinely like reading books when I'm not working, right? When I'm not loaded with pending works, or when I'm not getting paid working, I tend to go for reading books. Because I genuinely like reading books when I'm not loaded with work. So, but I never really read this particular book. I was reading few other books. I did read few books in the last few years, but I didn't read this particular book. So when I started off doing these audios on the side, while I was also working with a product development as well as a staffing services company, I thought this particular book will come off well, because even if one of my co-workers listens to this particular show, I thought I wanted to be very much relevant, and I really felt like this book would serve them all, right? So that's the reason I chose this book as well. And for me, this particular book is like a guide to entrepreneurial and managerial professional journey of every individual. And with that being said, I'll sign off. But before I leave, as I told you earlier, I would like to share with you some of the things I'm up to these days. First of all, I'm currently writing a kids story book. That's for Wattpad. It's called Adventures of Riley and Coco. It's a story of a girl named Riley as well as her dog Coco. It's a good story, and it's very much relevant story for the kids, and I believe it will be a good story for 7 to 15-year-old kids, I guess. The children of between 7 to 15-year-olds, I think they'll like it, and also adults. I think they'll like it too, because it's very much relevant to what's happening today. So, and it'll be available to read on from June 7th on Wattpad. So that's one thing I'm doing, and the second thing is like I'm writing a blog post for Medium. So that's the usual thing I do, but this blog post is kind of different. It's special. It's called Adulting Alphabets. Adulting Alphabets is nothing but it's one of those long form articles. I'm covering like 156 good human traits on it. So it's a long form article explaining around 156 good human traits. So it'll come off as a good read for people who look for positive affirmations, right? Positive words or positive behavioral traits. You can actually remember these, and you can actually tell them to your kids as well. So I really believe that this one is very much helpful for the younger readers on my Medium, as well as I kind of want this one to break in on the platform as well. That's all. So these two, but again, the speciality of Adulting Alphabets, if you ask me, is that I generally write blog posts that'll come off as 8-minute reads or 10-minute reads, but this one is way beyond that. If you ask me honestly, it's already been an 8-minute read. I didn't even write 1%, right? It's not even 1% done. It's already become a 8-minute read. So this will be a gigantic read. Like it might end up as a 2-hour or 3-hour read. It might. So I'm really not sure. So these two are the things I'm working on, and I hope that I'll be able to bring both of them to you as soon as possible. And that's all from me today. And thank you all so much for listening. And please do check out my the Instagram page for the podcast. It's Arvind Speaks Podcast. It's at the rate of Arvind Speaks Podcast. It's ARAVINDSPEAKSPODCAST. Right? Do follow it. Have fun. Peace. Have a good day.